Hello, welcome to my old house. On today's episode, we're going to finish a project we started 2 months ago by addressing the door trim here on the exterior doors. Let's take a look. Now, based on research I've conducted, 100% of people polled that I happen to be married to consider this to be an embarrassment. So today we're going to address that. Now, last time around, we removed the door trim, installed the exterior door, and that's left this rough opening between the drywall and the door casing. So to fix that, we're going to head to the home improvement store and we're going to get some materials. Pre-made door trim is incredibly easy to come by. You go into any home improvement store and there's tons of it laying on the shelf. It comes with the profile already done. It comes pre-primed. All you have to do is cut it to length, miter the ends, and tack it into place. But then you get the same look that everybody else has. So instead of doing that, we're going to do something a little bit different, but really not that much harder. I'm going to get material, build my own trim, and then do that to get a custom look that you can't get without doing it yourself. So the question is, why do it this way? Well, there's actually a couple of good reasons. For starters, the effect I'm going for, it's known as the Craftsman style. It's an older style, it's starting to come back again, and it requires a flat board. And if you go buy pre-cut door trim, it's going to have the routed profile on it, and I don't want that. The other option would be to buy individual boards, but it's actually way more cost effective to get a big sheet of this stuff and cut off the boards that I need, because I'm going to have to cut them to different widths anyways. So the nice thing about this is the tools I need is relatively minimal. You can do every bit of this with nothing more than a table saw. In my case here, I'm going to start with my track saw because I don't really enjoy steering these big sheet goods over my table saw, and I have it, but it isn't strictly necessary. So this is accessible to people who maybe don't have the equipment, but they know somebody who has a table saw. You know, an afternoon you can have all this stuff cut and done. So in my case, I'm going to start here, and then I'm going to cut everything to length, and then the last part is just painting it up and tacking it into place. It's really that straightforward, and I can do that from this one big sheet. The other advantage here is that if I goof up, I have plenty left over. I can cut as many different sizes that I need. I mean, there's probably enough material here to do half a dozen doors at least. I only need to do 2. So day's kind of getting long here, so I need to get going. I need to have all this stuff painted before the end of the day to let it dry. So we got to get cutting. Let's go. So jumping over to the table saw now, I've got the casings cut to the right width, and now I need to rip them to the right depth, which is 1/2 inch. The MDF sheet is 3/4 inch thick, and instead of buying different sizes, I can just rip it down on the table saw. Alright, and with that, second coat of paint's done. Now we just have to let it dry. It'll take the rest of the evening to dry. We'll be ready to go for tomorrow to actually hang it. So at this point, all the materials should be good to go. From here on out, we'll just be assembling. So I guess there's nothing to do now but to wait. Now that the paint is dried, we can begin our final assembly, and we can begin to see how these pieces will come together. The foundation of the trim will be this plinth block. This block will sit flush on the floor. The existing baseboard will terminate into the side of it, and the new casing will come out the top. So this will start at the bottom. The casings will go up the sides of the door. On top of the door, we have the head casing, and then on top of that, we take this piece, turn it on its side, and this will create the head cap. And again, we have this little bit of a reveal to give it a textured look. So from here on out, it's just a matter of nailing all these pieces into place, because the cap and the head casing can be done out here. We'll do a little bit of pre-assembly, which is just nailing them together, and then we'll take those pieces inside, nail them finally into place, and we're done. It should be that simple. All right, and there we have it, finished project. So to recap, we had the original plan, which I promptly chucked out the window, went back to the home store, got this lovely set of pre-made door trim, painted it, hung it, and I think that the end result really speaks for itself. So as a word to how projects typically go around here, you start with the initial plan, and then sometimes you have to just sort of figure it out and go with the flow. Right, Natalie?
Yeah.
Yep. So what do you think about the finished project here?
I really do like it.
All right, and on that note, from our family to yours, we'll see you next time.